Okay, peace and blessing to all the viewers. All praises to the Most High. So this video is a side note video. The purpose of it is to put all doubt to rest in regards to the new moon, because I talked about this in the previous video. But some people are still confused. Some people still believe that the full moon is the new moon, which is not biblical. It's not true. So we're going to be doing further investigation. Open the book of Enoch and see what it says. We're going to break down a little bit more in detail so that people can get a better understanding. And hopefully, by the time you finish watching this video, you going to understand it. So with that being said, let's get into it. The moon has four names. Its first name is Azania, its second Abla, the third Banasi, and the fourth Era. So basically, the moon has four names, and I talked about this in the previous video. The first is Azania, which actually stands for the dark phase, or the dark moon. And the second, which is called Abla, stands for the first quarter. And the third, which is called Banase, stands for the full moon itself. And the fourth, which is called Era, stands for the last quarter, major quarter, which is called the third quarter of the moon. The moon wanes in 15 steps during a period of 15 days and waxes in 14 steps. So basically, we're going to explain the waning procedures, the waning process, which means that the procedure whereby the moon decreases, or the lights of the moon decreases from the full moon all the way down to the dark moon. And the waxing procedures is the opposite, is when it goes from the dark moon all the way up to the full moon, is the opposite. In its waning, the moon decreases on the first day to 14 parts of its light. On the second day, it decreases to 13 parts of light. On the third, to 12 parts. On the fourth, to 11 parts. On the fifth, to 10 parts. On the sixth, to 9 parts. On the seventh, to 8 parts. On the 8th, to 7 parts. On the 9th, to 6 parts. On the 10th, to 5 parts. On the 11th, to 4 parts. On the 12th, to 3 parts. On the 13th, to 1/2 of the preceding. On the 14th, all its light decreases to 1/2 of 1/7. And on the 15th, all the remaining light disappears. So basically, this is the waning process that we just read. And the waxing process is the opposite. So as I mentioned earlier, the waning process starts from the full moon all the way down to the dark moon. This is it. And this actually occurs in 15 days. So all of this process happens within 15 days. On the first day, it's called the new moon because on that day, the illumination begins to set upon it. So now we're going to go into the new moon, which is called the new month, because every time the new moon comes out is a new month. I talked about this in the previous video. So now we're dealing with the first day. How to identify the first day of the new month or the new moon, because it says on that day the illumination begins to set upon it, which means that the light begins to gradually, little by little, set upon the moon, because at first it was pitch dark. So the first day the illumination begins to set upon it. So now we're going to find out how much, or the amounts of the light that begins to set upon it on that first day. how much light began to set upon it, upon the moon on the first day. So that's what we're going to find out. And you have the beginning of the month, considering half of it to be divisible into 7 parts. Very important. I want you to understand that. And now I want you to open your mind and understand that, this concept. He says half of the moon is to be divisible into 7 parts. So that means that you have half of the moon that can be divisible into 7 parts. There's 7 parts in the half of the moon. The half of the moon has 7 parts. That's what it means. The whole disk of it is without light. So we know that the whole disk of it is without light. The whole disk of the moon is without light. That's the pitch dark moon that is referring to, with the exception of 1/7 part of the 14th part of the light of the sun, 1/7 of its half light. On the day when he received 1/7 part of its 1/2, as the sun sets, it becomes equivalent to 1/7 light of 1/2 of it. As the sun sets, contrary to what people say about the beginning of the day. The day starts at evening because the new moon usually comes out at evening. That's why the Sabbath and most of these feasts start at evening. The Passover at evening. You follow the new moon. If you follow the new moon, then it starts at evening. From evening today till evening of the next day. This is very basic, fundamental knowledge in the Bible. 1/7 light of 1/2 of it. Let's keep reading. You're going to get a better understanding. Then when the sun rises, the moon rises together with it, taking a portion of 1/2 of its light. That night, again, there you go again. That night, the moon, that evening, the moon, just beginning its monthly journey on its first lunar day, ladies and gentlemen, on its first lunar day. This is the first day, set with the sun and becomes dark. This is the pitch dark moon. This is the first lunar day in respect to its 13 parts that night. Now, follow. This is the hot spot right here. On that day, it rises and shines with exactly 1/7 part of its semicircle. Semicircle stands for half of the moon, which is divided into 7 parts. The semicircle, which is half of the moon, which is divided or divisible into 7 parts. So the first day of the moon, or the first lunar day of the moon, is 1/7 of its semicircle. Let me say it again. The first lunar day of the moon, or the first day of the month, is the 7th part of half of the month. That's what it looks like. That's how you can identify the new moon. That's when you know that this is the first day, and it comes at night, at evening, and that's when the day starts. This is clear. 1/7 part of the semicircle, which is the half of the moon. So you take one of the 7 parts of the half of the moon, That's it. This is the beginning. This is the first day, the first lunar day. During all the seasons, when the moon is made to run its cycle, the light is being beamed into it. The moon facing the sun until the illumination of the moon is completed in the course of 14 days. And when it's lit completely, irradiate light in the sky. So now this is going to the full moon. Though for the people who think that the full moon is the new moon, I don't know where they get this knowledge from. I can't even fathom. I don't know where to get this knowledge from. The new moon, the full moon occurs in the course of 14 days. When the moon is completed, is fully illumined, it happened after 2 weeks from the new moon, or 14 days from the new moon. So the full moon is far away from being the new moon. The full moon is far from being the new moon. The moon is completed in the course of 14 days, starting from the new moon. So you count 2 weeks from the new moon. That's when you get the full moon. This is clear. It will become fully illumined from the 14th day. It completes its illumination the 15th. What do you not understand? The people that say that the full moon is a new moon and that the day starts during the daytime. Where do you get this knowledge from? The day starts at evening. Common sense, because the new moon comes out at evening. So that's when you start counting the date. From evening to evening the next day. From evening to evening the next day. From today evening to tomorrow evening. This is common sense. Sunset. From today's sunset to tomorrow's sunset. That's when you keep the Sabbath on the 7th day. I show you guys this in my previous video called the Sabbath day. You can check that out. The very last video. It will become fully illumined from the 14th day. So after 2 weeks from the new moon, that's when you get the full moon. And when you check, you get on Google, for example, and you check the list of the phases, the 4 major phases made by the astronaut, then you will see, you will understand that the full moon is always 2 weeks away from the new moon. And I will share a image which I shared in the previous video. I will share the image in this video as well so you can see. So as you can see, the new moon is 2 weeks away from the full moon, and there's always between those 4 phases a difference of 7 days. It could be 8, it could be 7, it could be sometime even 10, because it's not stable. It's not stable, just like the modern day calendar. You can't use the modern day calendar as a reference to keep the feast or the Sabbath day. If you go off of the modern day calendar, then you are totally wrong. I'm sorry, but you keep the Sabbath day on Saturday. You don't go off of the new moon. No, I'm sorry. The new moon is a natural calendar. It's a sign of the feast, just like the scripture says. This is how I saw their fixed positions, how the moon rises and shines when the sun sets. This is to respond to the people who says that the day starts during the daytime. The day doesn't start in the morning. The people who think the day starts in the morning, no, you wrong. Because the moon rises and shines when the sun sets, and we know the sunset at evening. So, and that's when the day starts. We need to be clear. We need to be clear. If you don't understand, after watching this video, you don't understand that the day starts at evening and that the full moon is not the new moon, then I don't know what to tell you. Or maybe you have an agenda and you're trying to stick to it, or I don't know what it is, your agenda. Maybe you have an agenda. And all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new moons and season and Sabbath, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years. So you need to understand that it was prophesied that the children of Israel will forget about the new moon, the beginning of the month, and all these other holidays. And we're going to confuse everything. And this is exactly what happened. This is exactly what has happened. And that's why you have all the contentions going on within Israel today during this awakening. People are confusing because it was prophesied that we're going to be forgetting about these holidays and about the orders of the year. And I shall hide my face from them, and I shall deliver them into the hand of the Gentile for captivity, and for prey, and for devouring. And I shall remove them from the midst of the land, and I shall scatter them among the Gentile. And they will forget all my law and all my commandment and all my judgment, and will go astray as to new moons, Sabbath, festival, jubilees, and ordinances. You see? That's why you got all the day wrong. That's why most of us got the day wrong. We going off of the modern day calendar. We following the Gentiles calendar, which is not of the Most High, which is a pagan calendar named after the pagan gods. All these names of the days and the month are named after the pagan gods. You need to know that. They will forget all my law, all my commandment, and all my verdicts. They will err regarding the beginning of the month, the Sabbath, the festival, the jubilee, and the decree. So now, hopefully you understood. Hopefully you've been edified. And I hope that this video has put, or is going to put all doubt to rest as relates to the new moon. And hopefully from today on you're going to start following the new moon. And once you notice the 1/7 or half of the moon in the sky, then you will know that this is the first day, the first lunar day, and that's the first day of the month. And then from there you will start counting the days until the Sabbath or any other holidays. And the one important thing is that the day starts at evening. You don't believe the people that say that the day starts in the morning. It doesn't make sense at all. The day starts at evening in the scripture for the Israelite, because the new moon usually comes out at evening. This is common sense. So, having said that, I'm going to say peace and blessings to all the viewers.